In the light of chase of freedom, we have come to realize two things. One is organizing ourselves and putting ourselves in a kind of position where we will be noticed. Am I correct? Yes. We must tell ourselves the truth, knowing fully well that there are big games, big territories that must be conquered if we don't use emotions to gather this. Now, in the morning, I posted a video saying that Simon Eber has agreed that Biafra will respect UN human rights treaties according to the law of the United Nations. But one thing that must not be tolerated or seen or must be seen as threat is the zoo government thinking that we respecting human rights treaties is a sign of weakness. Now, for Kandi Fulani say Meheri, Faje na Benue State, Meduguri, Yoruba land, Middle Belt, North, everywhere. Fani Meheri, Manafabata na Nibo. Onyo na Kwairo Mono, Kwairo Mohu, Makama and Ibo, Esika. Ibo Sirike, Ibo Wanchari. That is why everything that is done must be done in accordance. So, as we continue to write down this whole history, making it look as if a whole lot of progression has been made, we must write with focus that the biggest part of this dream is organizing ourselves in a proper order. So, our calmness, quietness is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of victory. Whom should be told must be told, and whom must hear must hear. When I need Jesse by Quesilije, not in Nepuna. If I need Jesse Kitawgani, Kahudama. Kusiputi fine yo. Kanoe your resume. Koseo de buying questioning easy. And that's the victory part of it. So as we preach this gospel, make it make sense, try to hold ourselves together, let them not see that we respecting the United Nations treaties is a sign of weakness. It's not done like that, and it can never be done like that. That the Biafrans have had enough of any kind of misbehavior from the zoo. And that is what they should put immediately. We must continue to place this as our first priority. One is what? Holding ourselves victoriously well, putting things the way they should go, and making sure that nothing spoils at the end of the day. A word is enough for the wise. And one must wholeheartedly remember this. Victory comes with so much sacrifice. That sacrifice must be well tolerated. The Prime Minister of Biafra has finally agreed to the treaties of the United Nations. For a very long time, the state of the United Nations has been, troubling Biafrans over their recent strikes, in different parts and in different locations where the zoo army has created a base. This has really brought a whole lot of mixed feeling. Sometimes it has brought a kind of creative nature that must be nurtured. Now, the Prime Minister of Biafra has decided to obey a little. When I say a little of their desires, you know, a little of their intentions, which has been uncalled for. But here's what is more captivating. It is very good that for years, after Odumegwu Ojukwu, His Royal Highness Odumegwu Ojukwu, His Excellency Odumegwu Ojukwu, led Biafra to what we call freedom of expression. Because if you notice in Nigeria, it is only the Biafrans that have this freedom of expression. And this has become more intended in a very big way. So after that very resolution, after that biggest speech that has been made, Biafra has come to a big realization that this is no longer the time to cowardice around. And that's where the message gets interesting. That you cannot put us in a circumference where to look as if we mean nothing. It doesn't even make sense. From the beginning, from the onset, from what have you, it doesn't even make sense. What makes more sense is the big room of what must be actualized and achieved. The big room of what must be categorized. And that's where the message is. So even as much as we want to respect the UN human rights treaties, they must equally understand that when our enemies want to shoot on us, we cannot stand and allow them to. Because there's nowhere in the law that self-defense is a crime. Self-defense is not a crime. It's not a crime in any kind of way.